Hello everybody, this is Gregory with 5 Minute Catholic Apologetics, where 5 minutes of your time can get you to the divine. Today we're going to talk about 3 little pet peeves that I see sometimes at parishes that I wish would be corrected, because I think in the long run it'd be better for the parishioners. Now before I begin, let's start with a prayer. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filii et Spiritui Sancto, sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper et seculi seculorum. I'll try to put in banners for my ongoing series of liturgical abuses that drive me crazy and some other related episodes. So these are 3 things that I think are small adjustments that could be done that bother me when I don't see them done. So no particular order. Number 1 is small confessional times. The problem with small confessional times, and what I mean is, in the bulletin, it'll say we do confession from 4 to 4:30 on Saturday and by appointment. So aside from the problem of the people who do want to go to confession only have a 30-minute window, because let's be real, by appointment is difficult. Most people aren't going to do that. To fit in, how many confessions can you fit in 30 minutes? More importantly, I think it sends a sign to your parishioners that confession is not important, because if confession was important, you'd have more confessional time. And it's not like volunteers can do confession, only the clergy can. So you're telegraphing this message, and we've talked about in a previous episode, like in the old days, like my mom used to say, the lines to confession were long and the lines to communion were short, but now it's opposite. Everybody goes to communion and few people go to confession. And so if you have longer confessionals, it telegraphs, of course you can reinforce this in your homilies, but it telegraphs that confession's important, that you shouldn't receive the Eucharist unless you're in a state of grace. So if you have confessions for several hours, it tells people, hey, this is a great parish. I can fit confession into my schedule. And I've been to parishes. When I did the videos when we were in, when we as the audience were in Chicago, I mentioned how I went to a church in downtown Chicago that literally had confession 8 to 5 every day. Every day. There was a priest always in there. And parishes that I know in the area I grew up in, or the area that I currently live in, there are places that do have confessions. They'll have like Saturday morning for 2 hours, Monday 2 hours in the evening, Wednesday 2 hours in the evening. And I love seeing this. And I know other parishes that will have confession prior to Mass, and then have confessional times. But the large majority of Our Lady of Suburbia parishes, as Father McTeague would say, have very small confessional windows, and the pastor needs to know in charity, this sends a bad message, because there are going to be people who are not going to be either receiving the Eucharist, which is not good for us, or they're going to be receiving it not in a state of grace. And plus, it just sends the message that confession is not important. Number 2 is charging people for pamphlets, for Catholic content in the vestibule or in the atrium. And I've seen this at a couple parishes. So you walk in, I think it's the atrium, it's the entry place before the sanctuary. Maybe it's not called the vestibule. And you'll see they'll have pamphlets, Catholic pamphlets and so forth, or about different topics like, why Catholic Church doesn't believe in contraception or abortion, or how to talk to a grieving person, whatever. You've seen these pamphlets. And then you're like, oh, this one might be great. Or you see the kids' book. Sometimes they do kids' book. And like, these are great. And then it'll be like $5, $2, $3. And like, I understand on one level why they do charge, because they want to be reimbursed for this content that they're providing. But it serves as an impediment to spreading the faith and evangelizing the faith and helping parishioners who might want this content, or more importantly, give it to people that they feel this content would serve them. And the large majority of parishes make a decent amount of money, $15,000, $20,000 a week, where I think you could eat the cost of providing this content for free. Now, maybe the parishioners say, like, we're barely breaking even, we're barely in the black, and I need every dollar we can get. That's probably perhaps the case, but then on one level, I'm like, almost like, don't provide this content where you're charging people to pay for it. And I've been at parishes that provide free pamphlets outside in the atrium. They're like, please take, it's free. And they have a lot of stuff. And look, they can make the same argument, we're barely in the black, or find an excuse how they can reallocate that money to something important. But no, they're eating those costs. Or, maybe there is a Catholic publisher that's just giving them this stuff for free. either way, then the parish who was charging should get in touch with the one who's not charging, because I just think it's poor optics if you're charging people to increase their faith and so forth. And the third thing is, don't charge Sunday school kids for books for Sunday school. And the reason I have a problem with this is again, it's you're charging people to raise their kids in the faith. And of course, the first person, the primary educator of the Catholic faith, are the parents. But there are Sunday schools, or weekly, whatever you want to call them, catechism schools, where they charge like $90 for registration, and it's for the books. And I just think it's poor optics, because there's going to be people who are not going to sign up simply because it costs money or they can't afford it. And I'm sure these places will have scholarships. But it's like, why are we putting impediments in any way, shape, or form to evangelizing and educating our parishioners? It just seems like it's a big mistake. And look, I get it. There are some parishes that are very wealthy and that the people can pay or would pay, but it still doesn't justify it. It still looks bad that you're charging people for Sunday school. If the people teaching it are volunteers and they're not getting remunerated for this, then the people, you shouldn't be charging a fee to the Sunday school people. And look, to the Sunday school students. And I get it, like, right, you gotta pay for utilities, you gotta pay, but come on, you're already paying for utilities, especially if you're having it during the Sunday masses. And so it shouldn't be done. I know Protestant churches, and I know people who are converts should be like, Gregory, it's like, I don't understand this. Like, I've been to, because Protestants church jump, we have a video here. I've been to 7 Protestant megachurches in my life, and no place ever charges parents to put their kids in Sunday school. Never, ever. And it just looks bad. And I agree, and I really don't have a defense. I'm sure if I talked to the pastor about it, they would have some sort of argument, perhaps. But it's just bad optics. It's really bad optics. You should not be charging parents for Sunday school. Guys, these are my 3 little complaints. Post in the comments if you agree or disagree. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.